Good evening. Yes. Oh, this is good, isn't it? How lovely. And yeah, I was going to welcome Jamie on, but you're on. You're on.
Fine.
How fabulous.
Thank you for having us, everyone.
And
nice to see you guys.
Yeah, and how nice to be here at this new store in Liverpool. Let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about Sandbanks, your brand, which is gorgeous. What's it firstly like returning back to Liverpool after all those years here?
I lived here for 11 years, Kirsty, and I had the best years of my life. You know, when you signed as a 17-year-old, I had a little bit of a flavour for Liverpool because when, I don't know, there'd be a few people that know, when Liverpool, there was a lot of Scousers down there at the time. So in Bournemouth, that is. So I sort of got to know a lot of people from Liverpool, my brother and a few of my mates. So when I used to go out in Bournemouth as a 16, 17-year-old, I used to get to know a lot of Scousers, had good fun. So I got the humour, I got the fashion, I understood it. I signed and I went to... my first experience of coming up, I brought my brother up, actually. We went to a shop. I'm not sure many people know Wade Smith. You all know Wade Smith. No? You're joking.
He was reminiscing earlier.
Well,
he
Wade
was going,
Smith,
oh, yes.
yeah, Wade Smith was a really cool, a bit like this. It was the shop that you wanted to go in. It was on about 3 floors. You could get everything in there. And I went up. I was on, not to be honest, at Bournemouth, I wasn't on big money. My dad was very tight. He was the manager. And I ended up signed for Liverpool. And the first thing I wanted to do was look after my brother. He's been everywhere with me, and I said, Mark, come on, we're going to go to Wade Smith. I've heard it's a great shop. Let's treat ourselves. Walked in, getting loads of gears. At the time, Adidas had a Challenger tracksuit. There was loads of nice gear. Trainer, I said, Mark, fill your boots. Come on, let's get a load of gear. So I get to the front of the queue, and as I'm about to pay, people starting to recognise me that I'd signed for Liverpool. I was from Bournemouth. I had long hair. People going, oh, good luck. Everyone was really friendly. And as I get to the queue, there's now like 5, 6 people behind. I went to pay. My wages hadn't been put into my credit card. And now everyone's looking at me going like, and it would be getting more and more embarrassing. And I'm stood there and then someone said, I'm sorry, it's not going through. Your car's not going through. And so kind, actually, the shop manager came round and said, look, Jamie, we know that hopefully the money will be coming through at some point. Just don't panic. We'll just come round the side. I said, can you come? So I had to go back next week when my wages actually hit to go and pay for all this lovely gear that I got my brother.
You had IOUs all over Liverpool.
I didn't do that one again, but that was a real lesson. But you can imagine the stick. You know what? Scousers have got the best humour, and I was getting from Evertonians. I was getting stick from obviously Liverpool fans, but all in good humour. But I love the fashion. I love the area, and to do this event tonight, and Wayne and Sam, who were involved in Sandbanks with myself, to come here, Kirsty, it's lovely. And to see what a beautiful shop it is and how much Liverpool's come on. This part of the world wasn't really around. I used to go to Cavern Walks and areas like that. But this is all so new and it's beautiful. So it's a privilege to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. The store's amazing. So let's talk about your brand, Sandbanks. What inspired you to create it?
Well, there's a number of factors. I'd like to say that it was all my idea, but it was Sam and Wayne especially. It was a friend of mine from Bournemouth many years ago, and he did a couple of brands. One was called Criminal, which is a really cool brand. It was in the 80s, 90s, and he did a good job with that. And at the time, Sky Ocean Rescue, we worked for Sky, and there was a big push on plastics, getting out of the ocean, sustainability. And Wayne said to me, how would you feel of getting involved in a brand? Now, I had no idea that we could turn plastics that are in the ocean into fabrics that could make a jacket or do a jumper, trainers, anything you like. I just had no idea. And once Wayne sat me down, I thought this is a really good thing to be involved in. I'm from Sandbanks. My mum and dad live in Sandbanks. It's an area that I really like. It's the second largest natural harbour in the world. And there's we've got so much pollution going on in our oceans. Now, I wouldn't say I'm the #1 person in the world at doing all, of turning, my rubbish and all that element to it and making sure that I'm, sustainable. But I try my best. I try to do my little bit. And I think this is something that we did. And to be involved in a brand that has a really good message, first and foremost, is something we're extremely proud of. But secondly, I love fashion. I've always loved fashion. I know I've made a few faux pas in my time, white suits. We'll come to that later on. But I've always loved my fashion.
We will talk about that.
So to be part of something and heavily involved, this isn't something, this is, I think I just had to add at the start that this is something that this is not a sponsorship deal. This is something that I'm, invested in. I love it. I'm proud of it. And when I'm here now and I look behind me and one of my favourite actors, Stephen Graham, good Scouser, and Jamie Carragher's on TV tonight with a Sandbanks jacket.
Is he?
I get really proud. I do. I was like a little, you're seeing something that you've been involved in for a long time. And the guys have done such a good job. So, I'm really proud of it.
And you were saying earlier, because I said how involved, are you, creating, you know, and looking at the stuff? And that you said to me, if there's something that's not right, I don't want to, you know, it's not right. You know, it can't go out.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a joint decision. Yeah, because how I look at it is, like, I'm 49 years of age. I'm a dad. I'm on the sidelines watching my kids play. And when I put a jacket on, or if I'm on the TV, I want it to look smart. You know, I've got Micah Richards. Micah's come here today to support. And Micah will, when he wears the gear, and he's 34 and he's one of the coolest guys I know, if he's wearing it and he's proud to wear it.
There he is.
You know,
I was gonna...
No, but we're doing our job. And that's what it's about, you know.
We're coming back to you in a bit. Don't worry, Micah.
So there is an element of, you know, you're trying to... You know, we've actually done a jacket that when we've designed now, which is a bit more of a, because these are sort of, I would say, jackets to wear if you want to go skiing, if you want to go and watch your kids play football. We've done more of a, how would I describe the other jacket? It's more of a, like a Pete overcoat. That's the word I was looking for.
Which is lovely, the navy one that you had on just now.
I'm not going to be happy until I see Roy Keane in that. You know, I want to see Roy Keane wearing that overcoat.
Is that possible?
Yes, I think so.
Can we send him one?
We're going to try and get him one.
Good. And the jumper, but all the gear.
Yeah, the t-shirts
it's great stuff.
And that's, I would like, the guys do such a brilliant job. But there are elements to it where they'll go, oh, what do you think? Like, wear one jacket that I really like, but I didn't feel the hood was.
Yeah,
I liked a bigger hood, so we changed it, and now we've got to get it to where you want. Look, we're young, we're a new brand, we're in a really tough market, but we're doing, it's baby steps.
4 years, yeah?
Yeah, 4 years.
And how difficult, it must have been very challenging with COVID in between. But did you ever think, oh my God, why have we done this now?
Yeah, I guess so. But then there's also an element, it was quite strange really. During COVID, I think a lot of people were, you know, bored at home. They had, you know, disposable income, and they were buying jackets, and it actually surprised us. But now, you know, you're in a tough market. We fully understand that, but we're so proud of what we're doing. We're proud of the product. It is, you know, it's not a tough sell when you look at it and you try it on and you feel it. And because when we first had the conversation with Wayne and he said, like, we can turn plastic, I was going to be like, yeah, but it's going to feel rubbish. He's like, no, it genuinely, trust me. And
it's amazing.
We're here now, and we've got a really, you know, large outlets, and people are wearing it, and they're wearing it because they like it. It really, as I say, it fills us with a lot of pride. So we're very happy.
And how does it feel being here in Tessuti in this brand new store that only opened late August, I believe? I mean, that's quite an honour, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And Tessuti they've really backed us, and I think that means a lot. And especially in Liverpool, where I've got such an affiliation to the place, the club, and there is so, like, Steven Gerrard is. Stevie's always been one, you know, as a kid, when, I know this sounds, Steve used to clean my boots. So I used to feel embarrassed because I should have been cleaning his. But Stevie was he was such a good player, good guy. And now, you know, when we send him stuff and he puts it on and he does it, you know, because he likes it. So that makes me extremely proud. So we seem to have the Liverpool element. Gary Neville wears it as well, and we, you know, can't have it always. No, but I love Gary. So no, we're happy. We're doing a good job, and as I say, I can't thank the guys enough to get in here. When they said they wanted it, we were like, absolutely.
Yeah. So Roy Keane, though, we need to get in that.
We're going to try with Roy, but
I've
got to be honest. Like, I need a middleman, and that middleman is bigger and stronger than me, and that's why Micah Richards is going to go and do that.
I was just going to say, yay! Do welcome Micah, guys. Do welcome him. He's come all the way to support Jamie and us this evening. And Micah wears your gear, don't you?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. So if we can get Micah in it, we're happy, you know. And that's the thing. It's like I always do it like this. When we had the discussion to start with, you say to people, it's there. If you want to wear it, great. But if you don't, there's no problem. You can give it to a mate, whatever. But the good thing is we tend to find that people enjoy wearing it. So that's hopefully what we're trying to do. And also, you know, that's one element of it. But we want people to if they like it, to wear it and enjoy it. And hopefully that feels... Because the message is one thing, but you've also got to like. You've got to like
authentic.
What you buy. And it's everything, you know, it's a tough time for everybody. It's a difficult world, difficult economy. So we're not, you know, the people, you know, it's not easy to just say, go and spend your money on it. But if you like it, and I promise you won't be disappointed. Yeah.
Well, let's talk more widely about fashion and your love of it, which you always look brilliant.
Don't know about that.
Well, you do.
I'll take that.
I'm sure you'll all agree. Tell us about your passion for clothes and style and maybe some faux pas as well. You mentioned the white suit. Come on.
I had a brother, actually. Mark was a big influence on me as a kid. Mark's 3 years older than me. He couldn't have had a better brother. He was always good fun. He liked to night out a bit too much, to be honest. He used to come up to Liverpool. I'm not sure to watch me play or to go to Cream. But So we used to have some good nights out together, and Mark was always ahead of the game. You know, we used to go in. My nan and granddad live in East London, so we used to go to sort of Salmon's Lane and around that area. And I can't think. There was a shop called Dice many years ago that used to sell the Tessuti tracksuits and you know the feeler gear, and you know, I mean, I'm sure a few people know what I'm talking about. And he was always cool. I used to get his hand-me-downs. You know, my dad would, you know, he'd go like, I'd take Mark's Tessuti tracksuit. So I always had that influence. And even when I come up here, John Barnes was my hero growing up. So when I came to Liverpool as a 17-year-old, John took me under his wing. And like, we used to go shopping. And in those days, it wasn't really... Like, I suppose we have personal shoppers, and I'm sure the guys have a lot of the players coming in. But John used to know someone who used to come over, and unfortunately, I used to try and dress like John. And
did
anyone
you?
that, a few times, we.
Like what did you do? What were you?
I remember going to Singapore with him once, and Micah and I have just come back from Singapore, and John was a little bit like my Cavern Walk story. I was buying a suit that I didn't really have enough money for. I was just got in the first team. And John went, let's get a suit made. I was like, yeah, great. Anyway, I bought this suit, and it was like a purple colour, silky material. I look like MC Hammer. I promise.
Say.
But because John said it looked good, I remember going out in Bournemouth with my mates, and everyone was looking at me, going, "What are you doing, Jamie? What's happened to you?"
Brilliant.
You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
But no, there was plenty of those mistakes. But also, you know, that's part of an experience, you know, with fashion and trying different things. And I've always loved it. I've always tried to sort of follow trends and do my own thing as well.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm so enjoying being part of this process as well.
Yeah.
But white suits, I think everyone will remember the white suits.
Yes.
I would like to say that wasn't my fault. But if I had my time again, it's so funny when people often talk about the white. If I had my time again, I think I was 20, 21 playing an FA Cup final. And I remember that week when they came, and I remember seeing like the suits, and David James was, I don't know if you remember, that he was an Armani ambassador. And
was he back then? Yeah, that's right.
He did the underpants, and he looked $1 million, to be fair to him. But I remember him saying that I'm going to wear these. We can get suits by Armani for a cup final. And we were like, okay, great, that sounds good. And then Ray-Bans came, and I remember putting on these horrendous Ray-Bans. But the white suits, and I felt probably even if I'd have been a couple of years, I'd have said, no, it's a no. We looked like ice cream sellers. It was a terrible mistake. But do you know what you learn from it? And everyone goes, like Alex Ferguson come out and said subsequently, that's the reason why we won, because we saw them in the white suits. It was nothing to do with that. They just scored a great goal on the day. Are
you looking it up? I thought everyone's sort of like, white suit, Jamie Redknapp.
No,
quickly.
it was a shock. We'll
be doing it later, won't we? I think I remember it.
But I think it changed the perception that we got a lot of stick, and rightly so, from our own fans, from other fans. And it was... You know, it was when you look back and you go, that was one of the biggest mistakes. But listen, you live and learn.
So we've talked about John Barnes, style icon of yours.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, who else have you looked up to fashion-wise that you played with? Which other teammates could really dress?
There's not too many.
Go on,
I'm going to be honest.
Try
Mix,
it.
am I right, Mix,
Try
or what?
it.
There's not many. There's not that many that you go, oh, you look smart.
What is it? They try too hard.
You've got to look at David Beckham, I suppose, as somebody that he would push boundaries like nobody would ever do. You know, and I think he sort of changed how men dress, how they look at themselves, how they probably take care of themselves more. If you're looking at one single influence, I would have to say that would be David, because you know, when I first came to Liverpool, if I'd have walked in that dressing room with like Steve McMahon and Ronnie Whelan and Alan Hansen, and walked in with a wash bag with all different moisturisers, I mean, like, God knows what they'd have done with that. So you can't, but it's changed. Men have changed. And I think we care more about how we look, how our hair is, how our fashion is. And I don't think we're too ashamed to do that. And I think that is a good thing. And I think David has sort of led a trend. People like David Gandy as well, that are good, good fashionable people, nice people. So, and I think that men are more comfortable wearing things and care about what they wear more than probably ever.
Yeah. And what about most stylish manager?
Harry Redknapp.
Hey, Harry!
No, most stylish managers.
Does your dad ask you for style tips?
No, Dad's all right, but it's
does.
so when you look at it now, Kirsty. If you go back, and I'm sure we've got a few older people watch games. If you looked at Alex Ferguson on the sideline against, say, my dad or Arsene Wenger, they'd be there in their ties, and it would be sort of very formal, like old-fashioned, if you like. Whereas if you look at Pep now, I look at Pep, and he looks $1 million. He's got that pocket, the cargo pants on. He's got like a jump. He's got a bit of Stone Island. He's just looking, and I'm like, you need a Sandbanks jacket just to make that look. If he had that, he's done.
Can we do that?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, that would be the dream.
Yeah.
No, but Pep's so cool. Jurgen, I don't mind the look. Frank Lampard always looks cool on the sideline. He's sort of gone with a sort of the casual look as well. And I'm so pleased to see how well Frank's doing at Everton. Got a big game tomorrow at Tottenham, which I'm going to be doing. But Pep, Jurgen keeps it Nike, keeps it on brand.
He's more sports, isn't
but
he?
He looks good in it, though. The cap, he suits it. So there's all... but it's just changed. Arteta goes for a very casual look. So the management's changed, and the perception of how we look at managers is almost how they dress. Because if you don't look good on TV, if you don't dress well, you stand out a million miles. Like the pundits now, like Micah comes on and setting trends, so we're all trying to follow him. He's got a different suit. We wear the same suits a lot of the time, so we have to. The other day we turned up, we were doing a game, and we had exactly the same suit on, didn't we? Our mate, one of my friends is Tom Sweeney's a designer, and we made the same suit. So now we have to call each other before we go on air to make sure.
Which one are you wearing today?
Exactly.
And what about Gareth Southgate? How possible is it to get him to switch from M&S to Sandbanks? I want to see that.
Yeah.
I really, really
He might
do.
be a little bit. He might be a bit hot in Qatar with one of those coats on.
Yeah, well, exactly.
But Gareth's done a.
You could do your own little line for him. Gareth Southgate line.
I think so. But he's got the waistcoat. He's got his thing going on, and it suited him, didn't it, in the Euros and the World Cup previously.
He's a trendsetter.
I like Gareth. He's going to be. The World Cup's going to be tough for him, but in a way, how we're doing might have just lowered the expectations because we were doing so well for a while. All of a sudden now we're not going into a major tournament where everyone thinks we're going to win it. It's like, well, if we get to the quarters, it'd be a success. So hopefully we can, do it. I'm not going to be over there. I know Meeks is going to do some work for the BBC, and it's going to be, it's not great, it's not ideal, but it's going to be something we've never had before. Like the World Cup finals on 19th of December. It's going to be like, wow.
So strange, isn't it?
It's strange, but it's new. And
are you looking forward to it though?
Yes, I can honestly say I am because it's new, and I think we've got to change. Sometimes a bit of change is. I don't agree with it should be in Qatar. I don't think that's by the by. I think everyone's had their opinion. But the last World Cup was in Russia. What can we do?
Yeah.
But it's there. We've got to get on with it. I don't think it's set up really as well as what it should be for the fans. But hopefully they do the best job possible.
Well, they will, won't they?
And there'll be good games. It's not going to be so hot at the time. It's going to be 24, 25 degrees. Everyone talks about the heat. It shouldn't be a major problem. I just hope England do well. That's all. I would love. It's been the women did so well in the summer and just inspired a generation of girls. So hopefully the England football team can do that.
Yeah. What about who do you think are going to be the ones to beat then? Who for you?
Brazil have got such a good squad. I look at their depth of the squad, and they're leaving out Jesus and Gabriel the other day from the squad. Martinelli, I don't think he went. Did he, Martinelli? No, he didn't go either. So they're always a danger, Brazil. And I don't know, if we don't win it, I don't think there's anything. When you see that gold kit, there's just something so special about it. When I was a kid growing up, and my dad, I'd sit down with my dad and watch videos of the 70 team, with Jairzinho and Pele and Tostão, Revellino, Gerson, just unbelievable footballers. Yeah. So if Brazil win it, I would have no problem whatsoever. But France are always going to be dangerous. The Dutch are good. I interviewed Virgil van Dijk today, and he was very excited about his team. I was just going to
ask you about.
Yeah, he was very buoyant about the Dutch, but they do like a fallout. They like to have a row with each other. So as long as I said that to him, and he was laughing. He said, as long as they can, keep, they got a good togetherness, and Van Gaal's the manager. They'll go close as well. Yeah. It feels like it could be anyone's. That's what I will say. And
was Virgil on good form today?
Yeah, he will. He was. It's tough. I don't think we've got many Liverpool fans in here. It's.
What about the other night?
You can't have it. Football's such a. The highs and the lows are so extreme, So if I would have probably interviewed him on Monday morning after the Arsenal game, he'd have been, you feel like your world's falling apart, and then you
That's
win,
right.
you know, and it's a great result
Huge
against
win.
Rangers. But it's still, you've got to remain, you know, you've got the toughest opponent on Sunday that you could have. Probably one of the best teams the Premier League's ever seen. Obviously, Mike is so close to the club, and you look at what Erling Haaland's doing at the moment, and you just think, wow. I mean, he's a generational striker. There's not many players I've ever seen do what he's doing. And I remember Robbie Fowler, but like coming onto the scene as a 17, 18-year-old, and it was just mind-blowing to see someone so good. And I think that when you look at what Robbie was doing at an early age, Robbie was a freak of nature. Erlen, you can see, is built, you know, he's like he's like Ivan Drago, isn't he, in Rocky? Whereas like Robbie, I can't even describe Robbie. Robbie like was no disrespect, He was a little bit out of shape, not quite that, you know, he wasn't the most incredible athlete you've ever seen. But when we used to do like testing, we used to do like pre-season, like the weights machine, and you had to sort of lift as much as you can.
Yes.
Robbie would just do it like that.
Yeah.
He's so strong. He could jump higher than anyone else. He was quick. He was strong. He was just one of the greatest footballers, you know, and he was a bit unlucky he had injuries, but I just love Robbie.
He's great.
Wow, what a boy. You didn't play with Meeks, did you? Yeah. Whereabouts? Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got bigger then. But he could finish though, couldn't he? Yeah, he finished his dinner too much. That was the problem.
Oh, poor Robbie.
No, I love him. He's my one.
Let's talk about the best players you know, I mean, it's a difficult question really, but who were the best you played with? I mean, who would you pinpoint?
Well, when I signed for Liverpool in '91, so that was an era that was strangely that year was Liverpool were the title holders, and then the year I signed, they didn't win it again for 30 years. Trust me, I blame myself for a long time. But I remember coming when I first signed and walking into that dressing room with some of my heroes: John Barnes, Ian Rush, you know, Whelan, McMahon, Hansen, Grobbelaar, Stevie Nicol. Kenny Dalglish was the manager. Like I just look at Kenny and I just was so in awe of him. You know, and when he signed me and then the first day he was just so kind. He knew I'd come from a really good family and he wanted to make me feel comfortable. And the first game actually played Wimbledon at home. And I've been there a couple of days, and he said to me, you know, on the Friday night, he said, "Look, come back tomorrow. You can have a bit of pasta with, you know, Marina and Kelly. Probably was about 14 at the time, I guess." And so I went back there and had some dinner, and he said, "Right, you're going to be in the squad tomorrow." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah, you're in the squad." So I thought I'm going to go there like at 17. At the time, they had 2 subs. So I went to the game. I'm in the car with Kenny. I do feel a bit like the teacher's pet. So we get back to Anfield. We have a bit of pre-match meal. I'm just looking at everyone. I can't tell you how in awe I was. These players were on my wall 2 weeks ago. Now I'm playing football with them. And I'm sitting in the dressing room. So Kenny then does his speech before the game, Wimbledon. It's like 2:30. Sorry, no, 1:30. Kicking off at 3:00. And I'm listening to him. I'm just taking every word in. But the one word I forgot to listen to was when he named the 2 subs, he said Redknapp. So I'm now walking. So I'm going to walk out the dressing room to go to the players' lounge. And then everyone's going, well done. I'm going, what do you mean? He said, you're a sub.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, oh, my God. I couldn't believe it. I was actually, so I'm 17. Oh. I'm sub. And I didn't get on, unfortunately. We were drawing 0-0, and it wasn't going to plan. Liverpool were having a bit of a wobble at the time, the team, and so I didn't manage to get on. But I remember half-time going out. I just wanted to just stay out on the pitch as long as I could. And Vinnie Jones was playing at the time for Wimbledon. But I thought, I'll have a bit of you. I didn't care. I was 17. I didn't care less. I just wanted to get on that pitch.
What was it like up against him?
Yeah, well, I played against him subsequently, but at that time, But Kenny left about a month later. So I never, unfortunately, got to play for the great man. But still now, I'm in touch with him. He's, you know, when you talk about heroes and people looking out for you, you know, as he signed me as a kid, and the way that he sort of took me under his wing and looked after me, and always, you know, even when he left, I'll never forget it because it was a crazy day. And I don't know, there's obviously a lot of people, sort of younger guys here, but when Kenny Dalglish left Liverpool, it was shockwaves like you can't believe. It was like the main news. It was everything, and I walked into the training ground in the morning. Sorry, I walked into Anfield those days. You go to Anfield first, and you go to Melwood. And I walked in there, and I could hear people talking. There was something going on, and I couldn't quite understand what was happening. And then someone went, "Kenny's left." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "He's resigned." I was like, "Oh my God, you know, I've just signed, and you know, I'm come to Liverpool, and I was, what's, you know, from a purely selfish point of view, what happens to me now, you know?" And so we went and trained. I was meant to be in the squad. We were playing Luton that day. And Ronnie Moran, who was a great guy, Ronnie, he come up to me and said, look, mate, look, son. He said, you're not going to be in the squad. We just want going to take a really experienced squad right now, and it's not probably the right time to have you involved. And I was like, no, fully understand, no problem. I went back to my digs. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I cried. I was absolutely devastated. And I was standing just right by Anfield. And I was standing with, funny enough, her name was Mrs. Sainsbury. And no mobile phones in those days. The phone goes in the digs about 3 o'clock, and she calls me. I'm upstairs in my room. She said, Jamie, there's a phone call for you. So I went downstairs. It was Kenny. He'd resigned, but still had the decency, like all the things that were going on in his life, just to say, listen, mate, listen, son, you're going to be all right. Yeah. You're going to be okay. Wow. You're a player. The club loves you. You're going to be fine. Just keep working hard. He said, look, I'm not sure. I know you're not in the squad tomorrow. He said, I'm going to be on the tee. I'm playing golf at Hillside Golf Club. Come and join me. And I was like, lovely. And I went down there and played golf with him. And I just think about and what he's done for this part of the world, you know, with everything that's gone on with Hillsborough and the way that he's always conducted himself. Like, he is one of the greatest people I've ever met, you know, and it means a lot even talking about him.
Yeah, absolutely. I can vouch for that, knowing him very well and knowing Kelly and all of them, really. What makes a brilliant manager, Jamie, would you say? Let's talk about that. I mean, what do you feel makes a good manager?
I think it's changed a lot. Now, I've been, you know, subjected to football management since I was 5 years of age because of my dad. Yeah. So I know how, and I used to see my dad like live and breathe it like you cannot believe. And he's actually said that lately, you know, that he used to get such dark days. Like when they lost, like Mum used to say, like I was 7, don't talk to Dad tonight, like you've lost, you know. And I was like, and I remember his first game as a manager for Bournemouth. Someone had got the sack. He took over for a game as a caretaker manager. They lost 9-1 to Lincoln on his first game as a manager. Imagine that. Yeah, I mean, there was no Chinese takeaway, that's for sure.
No, I bet.
There was no food coming our way that night. Did not say a word.
How long did you not talk to him for?
Well, it was tough,
while.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was so difficult. But, you know, and Dad used to, you know, like, I understood it, so I would never. I won't say something. My brother used to put his foot in it on occasions, but I would always just try to, you know, not do too. But one thing for sure, on that Sunday morning, he'd always come and watch me play football. You know, he'd be the first there, help me get ready and everything. So, but it was tough. You know, football management it hasn't changed, and I think, like, you know, Jurgen Klopp. Now I look at him and I think the stresses he must be under. Because you're only human. Yep. Because now, more than ever, there's more outlets, there's more social media. You know, and when Dad was a manager, there was a phone in afterwards. There was a newspaper on a Sunday or a Monday. Oh, no. After that, no one could really get to you. You know, maybe the man on the street, or, you know, filling your car up at petrol in the super or in a shop getting a newspaper. But it's more intense than ever. But so you have to be able to handle social media. You have to be able to handle people now that are on so much money. So how do you handle millionaires? You know, that have got so much money, big egos.
It's tough.
You don't even, like, rather than, in my day, if I had a problem with a manager, I was easy with my dad because I'd just tell my mum. But when I was at Liverpool, you didn't used to go to, you didn't go to the man. They go to the owners now. Their agents call the chairman up. So it's lost a lot of its charm to a certain extent. So it's harder than ever, and that's why I've got so much admiration for the Jurgen Klopp and Pep and even Mikel Arteta right now. Because Mikel Arteta 2 years ago, we're all giving him plaudits right now, and he's been great. He was getting hammered.
He was getting hammered.
There was not one pundit out there that wasn't saying should be losing his job. He's not going to last. So it's a tough job. It really is. But the rewards now, because in Dad's day and even Ferguson, the players used to get much more. Whereas now, I think I would probably think managers just get as much, if not more, than a lot of the players, and they deserve it because they have to be a great psychologist to these young boys that need a lot of help as well on and off the pitch.
And let's talk about Frank, your cousin. You know, at Everton. I mean, how you said he's enjoying? Is he enjoying it? I mean, he's obviously they're doing well.
Yep.
Lots of Everton fans in here. Yeah, well done.
Yep.
Excellent. But how is he coping with it? I mean, I know Frank well. How's he sort of? How's he coping?
It's interesting. I don't. What's your name? Steve. So I don't. How I see it. Obviously, Frank's my cut. There's 5 years difference between us. You know, Frank's just not my cut. We're close. We're big mates. I speak to him all the time. And what I love about it is that the Everton fans have really taken to him. That's how I see it from afar. Because
would you agree? Yeah.
You know, he knows he bought into it. Now, people up here, they want to see hard work. They want to see desire, dedication. They want to see their team running. They want to see the manager that genuinely cares. And there's no act with Frank. What you see is what you get.
You didn't know that was his cousin, did you? Sorry, yeah.
No.
It's his cousin, really.
But he's genuinely... And I think Frank, as a manager, as he was as a player, he gives it all. He gives his all.
He's so passionate, isn't he?
And I think, at Chelsea, there was good moments, and I think it was good timing for both. Everton needed a manager that come in and that cared, because obviously it didn't work out with Rafa. And they've got one, and I hope that they have real success. And it's because people go, I'm Liverpool through and through.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely now desperate for Everton to do well, because I want to see Frank do well.
When Chelsea didn't work for him, did he? I mean, can you tell us? Did he sort of think, I don't know if management is for me? Did he have to have a good think about Everton, or?
I've got a lot of admiration for Frank, because it's almost like so when my dad was a manager, Frank was his assistant. Yeah. So Frank Senior loved football, but not like my dad loved football. Whereas when I retired, I was so put off management watching my dad.
Is that right?
Yeah, when I retired at 31 through injuries, and my dad went, "Are you going to be a manager now?" And he went, "You got to do your badges." I was like, "No, I don't." And I got into the media, and I loved it, and I do League of Their Own.
So you don't regret it?
Not one bit.
Not one little bit.
There's not one bit of me.
You see Frank doing it.
I can see the buzz. I get the buzz. I get it fully. I understand what it must be like going and getting a win and going back, opening a lovely bottle of wine with your wife and your kids and have that feeling. But I've seen the lows. Like, I think that's what's always put. Like, when I see my dad get so low that he genuinely look at him and think, he doesn't. I was actually genuinely worried about him. So that I guess subconsciously, and not even without notice, put me off. All I ever wanted to do was be a footballer. That's all. Since I was that high, I had a picture of me with a ball. It's all I wanted to do. And even now, I dream about football every night. Every night, without fail, I have a dream that involves football. Yeah. So it's always been my life. I know it sounds weird.
No.
It's the God's truth. And I keep taking penalties, and that ball keeps sinking into the ground. I don't know why. But it's the same. But I promise you, it's all So I never wanted to be a manager, and that's why my admiration for Stevie and Frank is unbelievable what they're doing, because they suffer. You age. I looked at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I watched him age overnight.
We all did.
I've been in Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam with Micah doing League of Their Own road trip, or I could be stood on the sideline getting abused by people, and I'm like,
difficult one, that, isn't it?
It's not that difficult.
Now, listen, I just want to quickly ask you about the fact, because Charlie, your son, you said you wanted to be a footballer. You always wanted to be a footballer. He's a rugby player.
Yeah,
He's
he loves
a brilliant
it.
Rugby player.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I love it. To be honest, it was. I probably Charlie's 18 now, and I would be honest and say when he was a kid, I just thought, well, he's going to be a footballer. That's just a fact. He's going to pick a football up and just become a footballer, and it doesn't work like that. And I probably pushed him too hard as a kid, so I maybe pushed him away from it, and then I gradually got to the point where I'm like, what are you doing? Just let him be. You know what I mean? And then. He loves his rugby. He did well at it. He's gone to university in America now. He's in Arizona. He's having a great time. And, I couldn't be prouder.
Brilliant.
I don't know if he wants to be professional. I'm actually nervous because those boys are so tough. But he loves it. He's doing well. They had their first game last week. And, it was amazing. The buzz that, when you speak to him after a game, the time difference is obviously 8 hours at the moment. So it's hard. And I genuinely miss him, but I'm going to be going over there again soon to see him. I've got a 13-year-old Bo. He's at Sutton. He's a good footballer, midfielder. Needs to have a bit more desire, and I keep trying to tell him, "Come on, mate."
Come on.
But
one of the three needs to be a footballer. What about little Rafa?
Brain. Rafa loves the ball. Yeah, Rafa's,
you will like that.
No, Rafa, he's 10 months. Yeah, not after Benitez. No, Raphael. He's more after Nadal.
Yes, that's
but he's only So to do it again, I've got to be honest, Kirsty, it's
how
amazing,
wonderful.
Unbelievable. It's. My dad said, "What are you doing?" He said, "People are going to think you're the granddad." I'm like, "Thanks, Dad."
Did he?
Yeah, of course he did. What Dad's like. But no,
funny.
It was
brilliant.
No, it's a great experience just to do it all again.
3 boys, how lovely, amazing. Well, listen, I am hogging the time with you here. I think we're going to throw it out. Thank you so much, Jamie. To the audience, I think we've got a microphone. So come on, be brave. Any questions? Keep it clean. Yes.
yeah, I think, what was I think I was 21. I was playing well for Liverpool, and I never, even though I was doing well, I never thought that I'd play for England. I don't know why, but I remember we were this is going to sound really weird. I was sat in a bath with John Barnes.
What?
Genuinely. No, we were sat in the bath.
That must have been your dream.
Oh, yeah. At Anfield, and big bath. And I can't remember the game, but I'd had it off. I played well, and John went to me, "Do we play for England soon?" And I just looked at him and I went, "What do you mean?" He said, "You're playing for Liverpool. You're playing like that for Liverpool. That means you're going to be playing for England." And I didn't really cross my mind. And then the next squad, I got picked. And, yeah, it was just, couldn't believe it. But in those days, we found out on teletext. You probably know what teletext is, do you? Yeah. And I remember reading it, and I'll never forget it. It was 3:01 it was 3:01, I think, on BBC, and then came up. Redknapp gets his first England cap, and I remember ringing my dad, and I couldn't believe it. And we played Colombia, and that was where Higuita did the scorpion kick.
Oh yeah.
So that was my cross. Well, it was my shot. No, it was a cross. Sorry, it was a cross, but everyone thought it was a shot. But I don't know what he was on that night, Higuita. But yeah, but it was it's quite. We drew 0-0, but just amazing just to get an England cap. But it cost me. I will also say that it come at a cost for me because, my injuries came really playing for England. I broke my ankle twice playing for England. I tore my hamstring, and that was. I think I used to get so uptight. Like when I was playing for Liverpool, I felt more comfort. I don't know what it was. I felt more pressure than playing for my country, and I've no doubt that cost me, my career really. And I used to get a lot of Liverpool fans going, "Why do you keep playing for England?" And then when I look back now, that it really did cost me years. I broke my ankle against South Africa. I broke it again against Scotland. And I tore my hamstring against Austria, I think it was. And so I had a really tough sort of experience of England, but also a lot of pride to play for your country,
But difficult to say, no, sorry, I'm trying to keep my Liverpool career going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's a tough one, but I guess, I think it's all about, and it's the same thing in life, with emotions and comfort. When you feel comfortable around people or surroundings, you perform better. And I think maybe with England, there was a pressure, and I wanted to do so well. And if you're uptight and you don't produce your best, no matter what you're doing, confidence is such a big thing. So I suppose that maybe had an impact on why I got so many injuries. Whereas at Liverpool, I can't really. People say, "Oh, yeah, I was injury prone," but I didn't really get. They came off the back of I missed a year playing. Michael and I had the same knee injury that cost us our careers, but that came really by having problems playing for my country. So yeah, but. Ifs and buts and maybes, you can't look back. And I got into media early, and that's now given me this life as well, so I can't complain.
Yeah, and actually, Micah, are you enjoying your... Sorry, everyone's... are you enjoying your media career? Oh, you got a mic, excellent.
Yeah, I love it.
Go on then.
Do you know what he does? He walks everywhere with that.
Yeah, I know, yeah. You never know when you might need it.
He brings it out the jacket.
Funny enough, yeah.
It's attached to the suit.
I didn't know you had that. It's so brilliant.
No, I love it. I love it.
You're very good at it.
But it's not about me. It's about Jamie.
No, we want to talk about you as well here. You two are thick as thieves. I love it.
No, we are, aren't we?
You are. I love it. It's good.
No,
good little
I have to
friendship.
be nice to Jamie because when I first come to Sky, although I'm always acting the fool, I was quite nervous. And Jamie took me under his wing. He said, "Don't worry, you deserve to be here."
Oh.
And everyone sees a partnership between me and Roy on Sky, but really, it was Jamie, the one who I should be saying thanks to. So thank
That's
you.
lovely.
Oh, he's brilliant at what he does. He's added so much to what we do.
Absolutely.
And a real energy and a passion and because I think as well because we had similar sort of past. Where at 31 he retired, and I see that pain of not being able to play again, and that's when he's got into the other. And we spoke about doing league of their own, and you have to be careful sometimes because people go, "Oh, you're." Not talking about Michael, talking about myself here. Oh, you care more about that side of the media. But Micah and I, we're just lucky that we've got that job. But football's our passion. When everything in your life revolves around the football, and the rest of it is just a lovely aside and a bonus. That's how I look at it. And for us to be, we've already done a road trip, and he's just got natural charisma and energy. And he's not just saying 'cause he's here. He's a fantastic lad.
I completely agree with you. I do. And was it a good road trip?
Yeah, it's good, wasn't it?
Good.
Yeah, it was good. Good. It'd be on. I think January, February time.
Okay.
I think, it's really good fun.
So, any other questions for either of them? But for Jamie, go on.
it's very hard. We're all guilty of it. We sort of talk about eras and talk about players. Now, growing up in '86, I watched Maradona. 82, I watched Maradona, and I won't bore you with too many stats. But then in '82, when he played against Italy, there was a guy called Gentile. I don't know if anyone's heard of Gentile here. Gentile was the #1 man marker in the world. He was like this aggressive Italian killer as a footballer. He was just put on whoever the best player was in the other team, he would just mark them. Now in '82, he fouled Maradona 28 times, and they weren't fouls; they were assaults before he even got booked. So Maradona had to go through that level of punishment to produce what he produced. Whereas if you touch Messi now, if you tickle Messi, you're booked. So how we can really compare, and Maradona in '82 had to play on pitches that were so bad, whereas pitches now are so flat. So we're talking about, it's not far off a different sport. Now, I love boxing. When you go into the boxing, you can sort of go, okay, well, it's the same dimensions of a boxing ring. You can see that the skills, everything is, obviously the sport's evolved, but you look at Muhammad Ali and think, well, Muhammad Ali could beat anyone now. He'd box their heads off. That's a fact. But when I look at Messi and Maradona, it's almost, the only thing you can really say is they both just were born with a God-given talent and a left foot to die for. But in terms of who's better, I don't know how you could ever really say, because of the eras and they went through. Pele was, when you talk about Pele, people joke about his record and how many goals he scored in not games that didn't count. But if you look at Pele as a 16-year-old scoring goals in the World Cup, where he's flicking it over someone's head and volleying it in and doing headers that are just unbelievable, you think, well, this guy, and you talk to every Brazilian who's the best player, they go Ronaldo 9 or Pele. So it's really hard to talk about different eras. But I think we were blessed to see Ronaldo and Messi, and I watched Messi in the new camp. Messi's a genius, but it's and I've got a picture in my house of Maradona, and in '86 actually, when he's getting lifted up. It's a really cool shot, and he was just such an icon. But again, genius and madness unfortunately come quite hand in hand. And he had a lot of demons, but while we were so lucky to have seen him play, and I don't almost. The hand of God, everyone gets it. It doesn't. That's football, and that's sport. It's not always what you want it to be. We've done so many amazing things, and it's funny that you almost forget what you've done. I remember we were probably the most amazing. I'd always wanted to go to Alcatraz. I don't know if anyone's ever been. You been?
We've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like a bit of a dream to go there, and I remember we were so lucky that we were asked to go there really early, so before anyone got in. So I was with Jack Whitehall and Freddie, and we get there early, and just Jack is just Mike and when you're with Jack, he's just got this amazing energy. He's one of the best, funniest, nicest guys you could ever meet. There's no up and downs. He's always funny, always cool. So we get there early. We get on this boat to get there, and it must have been like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like you're moaning, why are we up this early? But then all of a sudden you get there, and the sun's starting to come up, and you arrive at Alcatraz, and there's like sea lions, seals, everything, and this noise. And then you go in, and then you're like, we're in this prison where some of the most famous gangsters, murderers, everyone's ever lived, and we're actually in there on our own. So we did the film. And what was his name? John Gotti, and I'm trying to think of some other names. There was, anyway, it'll come to me in a second. All these crazy gangsters. So we're in there. We did a piece. We went into the prison, and I promise you, there was this is tiny little area in your toilet. And afterwards, we then had to swim back from Alcatraz back to shore.
Oh, yeah.
That was part of the challenge.
Oh, God.
So I'm like to the producer, and Michael backed me up here. David Taylor's, there's no feelings, no empathy with this guy. I love him, but he doesn't. I said, are you sure this is safe? He went, yeah, no problem. I said, but I'm sure I read that all the people that got out got eaten alive by sharks. He went, no. Oh, he said, no, it's fine. Oh, what, they're gone now, have they, these sharks? They've become extinct, And he was like, no, it's fine. So anyway, we get in. Silly nuts, I'm in first. So I go in, and I'm swimming. So we did it in a relay, so we were going for about 10 minutes. And I felt I was getting closer and closer back to bleeding Alcatraz. Anyway, we start to move on a bit. Then Fred goes in, then Jack goes in. And we end up getting there, got back to shore, the three of us. About 2 days later, and I'm not joking, there was a picture of a great white jumping out of the water, taking a shark out, taking a seal. And we just done it. We just swam back from there. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
Well, I know. It wasn't fun. But he was trying to tell me there was no shot. But you know what David Taylor's like. So I would say that was probably the one of the most amazing things
Memorable.
we did. Yeah, but we also did some great things. We were down in Phuket, weren't we? We went to the jungle down in Vietnam for this road trip. And we've done a lot of stuff in America, but they're all things that we've sort of seen. But to do this road trip that I think we've done is as good as anything. It's brilliant
we look
fun.
Forward to that. In January, you say?
Yeah, January time.
Well, listen, before we go, I just want to finally sort of wrap up by talking a bit more about Sandbanks. What, if there is your vision for the future with the brand? Can you say that, or do you sort of take it as it comes?
Yeah, I think you take it as it comes a little bit because of how precarious everything is. But I'm so confident and proud in the brand and also the guys behind it, you know. And I think I've got to mention the boys here. You know, Ollie's just joined us. Wayne and Sam have done a brilliant job, and we speak all the time. As I say, I'm investing in it. I love it. I really want to see it succeed, not just because it's a message, but I love being part of it. Now, who knows? Nothing's easy, and it's like anything in life. And it's just a message for everybody. And I always say this to my kids. There's no shortcuts. If you want to be successful at something, you've got to work hard. Nobody gives you anything. And that's what I've always been brought up. That's what my dad said to me. You want to be a footballer, you've got to work harder than anyone else. So when I was at Liverpool, I used to stay on the training ground longer than anyone. That's why I made a footballer. Yeah. I was the same at Bournemouth. And that's what you've got to do. And I think it's the same with this. If we keep working hard, we keep challenging ourselves, hopefully the brand will carry on being a success. And I just want to say thank you to Tessuti for not just hosting this event, but for putting us in here. When I walked in today, I was genuinely made up because I thought, you know, this is so cool to be seeing, you know, guys like Stephen and the way they've done it.
The shoot's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
You must be very proud.
Cool.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, no, but thank you to the guys.
No, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, thank you very, very much indeed. Absolutely. Good luck with the brand. Thanks to Tessuti and Micah.
No, thank you to all of you. I was going to say thank you to Mike as well, because I said to him the other day, you know, come along. Gary and Jamie, and they working tonight, and I just said to me, it's like, I'd love you to come along, and I didn't expect him to, but I think it just shows you what a good guy he is.
Lovely.
So thanks, Micah.
Thanks for your support. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Get home safely. See you next time.
Thanks. Have a good weekend, everyone.
See you later.